Hello and welcome to Autogefühl and our special coverage of the Los Angeles Motor Show. There are 5 major motor shows in the world. It's Frankfurt in Germany, Paris in France, Geneva in Switzerland, Detroit in the US and Beijing or Shanghai in China. These are the A fairs. Los Angeles is a B fair, but it's important too. And you can not only see cars here, even flying objects like this. We will show you a lot of cars on Autogefühl from the LA Motor Show, some in detail, but first let us take a short journey to all halls of the motor show. This car is a Lincoln Navigator and the only car I know you have the chance to step out on a show stair. And if you ever miss your mobile phone, your glasses or shoes, you can find it all in your personal Navigator. It's a chance to see cars that are great in the US, like the Ford F-150, and this car not so often to be seen in Europe. A few weeks ago I told you what a fantastic car the new Porsche Panamera is, a really dream car, but over $100,000 or euros. You must pay for it. In Los Angeles you can see the Porsche Panamera as e-hybrid version. Another example for the story with e-cars here in Los Angeles. Did you see the executive sign on the Panamera? Porsche offers with the executive a long version of the Panamera with extended wheelbase, 15 centimeters. It's a global debut in LA. Sport performance with comfort as its best. A 4-seater touring vehicle. The executive versions are available with 550, 440, 330 horsepower and the hybrid version with 462 horsepower in the next year. And what is there hidden? It's a new Mercedes convertible, a Mercedes Maybach 650 hidden, but you know, Autogefühl, we can show you this car. And Mercedes presents in LA luxury and sporty cars like this. This is a Mercedes-AMG GTR V8 turbo car. If you like fast green cars, you can buy it in the middle of the next year. With green car, in this case, I mean only the color. This is a new Mercedes G550, and if you have passengers, you have to tell them not to take place, but please climb in. Smart shows electric cars like this, the e-Smart, or petrol cars like this. And the price difference between these two cars is about 6,000 euros. If you buy such a car in Germany, you get from the government 4,000 euros. If you buy it in France, you get 6,000 euros. And if you buy it in the US, you get $10,000. It's cheaper to buy this car, this e-Smart, than a petrol Smart. And therefore, 25% of all Smarts in the US that are sold are electric Smarts. And the brand says this will be the future. This will raise from year to year. So, and this is the ultimate car for all Jedi Knights, a special edition from Nissan, a Star Wars car, Rogue One called. You can buy it in January. In December, the new Star Wars film is in theaters all over the world. From this car, there are built 5,000 for the US market and 400 for the Canadian market. No one for Asia, no one for Europe. May the force be with Nissan. In every car is a full-size Death Trooper helmet. It will be very funny to drive with a helmet, and the police all over the world will love that. You can buy the Nissan Rogue in black or white. This is only a show car. Black or white, bad or good. And this is another world premiere in Los Angeles. It's the all-new Mazda CX5. The CX5 is the best-selling SUV from Mazda. It's a very important car for this Japanese brand. And this is a car I'm really happy to present. It's the first SUV from Alfa Romeo, the Alfa Romeo Stelvio. I think a really beautiful car. Look. Let's start with the design. Although Alfa has in history some technical problems, two things are always perfect: the sportiness of the cars and the design. And I confess, I am an Alfisti too. I bought a few years ago an Alfa 147 only for the design. And if I see this car, I get nervous. Could this be my next car? Let's look inside. Only one guy at the Los Angeles Motor Show is allowed to touch the car, to open the doors, and he does it for us. What we see is this car looks in a lot of points similar to the Alfa Giulia. And indeed, both share the same mid-size platform. So this is a typical Alfa Romeo front, with a design line from the hood to the headlights. The side profile tells us this is an SUV in coupe style with a falling roofline to the rear. The car has a compact length and competes with other SUVs in this segment, like the BMW X3 or Patrica the X4, Audi Q5, Mercedes GLC or the Porsche Macan. Most Alfas have had a special feeling by driving cuore sportivo in Italian, a sporty heart in English. How this heart beats as quick. Alfa presents here the Quadrifoglio version. It's the most powerful version with an engine with 510 horsepower. Standard horsepower for this car is 280. With us is Klaus Busse. You have designed this car. Congratulations first. What are your best parts?
The best part is the fact that I have a fantastic team in Italy that can create this beautiful design. No, I think, honestly, I think this is a very nice, successful evolution of the Alfa Romeo design with its sister vehicle, the Giulia. Displaying beautiful, emotional Italian design, which is so important because we don't try to be German, we don't try to be Japanese, we want to represent Italian passionate design. And that combined with the performance of this vehicle gives you true emotional Italian experiences.
I saw the first concept of an Alfa Romeo SUV 2004, 2005, and now we have 2016. How does it last so long?
Well, you know, doing an SUV is something that has to be very carefully considered, and you have to have the right platform. It's not enough to have a concept with a cool design. For an Alfa Romeo, performance is so important, so we needed to make sure that we have the right platform. The right platform came with the Giorgio platform that also underpins the Giulia, and that gave us also the performance that we needed for this vehicle, which is probably more important even than the design.
What did you say to the customers? You have to decide to buy this car in competition with Mercedes or Porsche?
No, I think hopefully the car speaks for itself by the beautiful Italian design. So that is our message to the customer without really providing a message or saying anything directly. It's really letting the vehicle, letting the design speak. I think we have a very attractive design. And then on top of that, once the customer gives us the trust and the chance, sits down in the vehicle, a very beautiful interior with leather, wood, metal, great fit and finish, great electronics. And then third, and probably most importantly, when they get to start the vehicle, get it on the test drive and see how the performance is, that'll seal the deal.
We cannot touch this car in LA. Do you have driven this car and tell something about it?
I've not driven this particular car. I've spoken to people who have. I have, of course, driven the Giulia. I drive a Giulia. And I know that the performance is very close to the Giulia in terms of numbers and in terms of handling. And I know how great the Giulia handles, so I'm very excited about this car too.
Is it a sporty car or a comfortable car?
This one here, well, it depends on how you drive it. I mean, the QV, of course, is a sporty car, but just like on the Giulia, even if you go into race mode, you can soften the damper. If you go into dynamic mode, you can soften even more. So you can drive on the highway, the vehicle, very comfortable. It has amazing sound deadening. And then with a different, has 3 stages of suspension from soft to medium to hard. So yes, you can drive it very soft. And then when you need it, you can drive it very aggressive.
It's a natural sound?
Is it
a natural sound?
Of course, yeah. It has a V6, a bi-turbo V6. I don't think you have to play with the sound to enhance it any further. It sounds amazing.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
My first impression is I will drive this car as quick as possible. I think this car may have the cuore sportivo in Italian, the sporty heart. And I will check how this heart beats. And now Autogefühl presents you another world premiere here on LA Motor Show. The first electric Jaguar ever, the I-Pace concept. Concept means this is the only car that exists. But isn't it beautiful? Jaguar says the I-Pace car combines the performance of a sports car with the space of a SUV, up to 100 kilometers per hour in 4 seconds and an electric driving range over 500 kilometers. Wow. Is this true? An electric car with so much power? Okay, Tesla shows it. And now Jaguar wants to be quicker than the other big manufacturers. 400 horsepower come out of 2 electric engines. In 2 years, Jaguar says you can buy this car. And be sure, Autogefühl will check it before. You know this car as a Jaguar F-Pace, but what is the big difference between F-Pace and I-Pace? Look at the small bonnet. This bonnet is much smaller than the bonnet of the F-Pace, and this means there's much more place for the driver and the co-driver, and much more place on the rear seats. Yeah, and this is a look of the rear side, and you see here are not so many differences between the F-Pace and the I-Pace concept car. Even the taillights are very similar, but what is not to find exhaust pipes? They do not exist by an electric car. For Jaguar, this is the electric car of the next generation with futuristic design, a special seating position nearer to the front of the car. Cab forward design is this called. We are happy to see it here on the LA Motor Show. Jaguar calculates that most drivers will drive daily not more than 50 kilometers, and therefore the battery should not be loaded more than once a week. That sounds good, nearly unbelievable. We'll check it for you too. So back on Los Angeles Motor Show with Autogefühl and a few details to the new Mini Countryman. It's a second generation of this car, and there are some differences. Most important, the car is a little bigger. It is 2 centimeters in the width and 10 centimeters or 8 inches in the length. And this is the new generation, the second generation of the Mini Countryman, and of course in a plug-in hybrid version available here on the Los Angeles Motor Show, and there we can see some petrol models. As you can see, this is an E model, but not a completely electric Countryman. It's a plug-in hybrid, mini don't tell us what is the driving range, but it will be about 50 kilometers. So this is the place for the charging adapter. This car is on the market in the US in April or in March in the next year. The price, Mini don't want to speak about it. I think possible the calculation has not been finished. But you will see it on Autogefühl if Mini says how much this car costs. Overall, Mini says the new Countryman should deliver a wider feeling outside and inside the car. I'll take a seat. Look at the cockpit design. Many people love it. Even this big round instrument. It's not my favorite design, but it's very unusual. Even the buttons. And as I said, many people love it, for this is only to buy in a Mini. 10 centimeters more length. Can you see it on the rear seats? I sit in the front and now I climb in the ring seat. Oh, it's not so much space for the knees and over my head. Okay, it's more a car for 2 people and 2 children on the rear seats. Let's look in the trunk. 10 centimeters in the length. More place? I don't think so. It's not so different to the first generation of the Countryman. Yeah, with us is Daniel Schmidt, product manager for all the Minis. What's new on the Mini Countryman?
Yeah, we are quite proud that the new Mini Countryman is now being launched, and the Countryman has grown in size in terms of length and width, not in terms of height, compared to the predecessor. And that is really for the benefit of our customers, because we gain approximately 5 centimeters of knee room in the rear second row. And also the trunk volume has been increased massively by 100 liters. Actually, we are offering now 450 liters of trunk volume, going up to even 1390 liters if you fold down the rear seats. We have a versatility which is the best ever for Mini. We have a 40-20-40 split rear bench, but we can also slide the rear seats. We have a new touch screen for Mini for the first time. We do have a complete new technology in terms of powertrains, gearboxes and engines. All our cars, starting with the Cooper and Cooper D, can get the all-wheel drive called All 4. And we also do have a new plug-in hybrid, for the first time an electrified standard car from Mini. And this is a car right next to us. And the car is really offering the typical driving fun for Mini and from Mini, having an electric motor for the rear axle, 65 kilowatts, and a Cooper engine on the front axle with 100 kilowatts, 136 horsepower.
What is the driving range?
The driving range in the European test cycle is 40 kilometers, pure electric driving, and the overall range is approximately, we didn't have or don't have the exact figures yet, approximately 500 kilometers.
Do you really think there's enough space for 5 persons?
Definitely, definitely. We have grown in size also in terms of width. It's 3 centimeters wider compared to the predecessor, which was already a 5-seater. And this car does really have the potential to be the first car in household. So it's a 5-seater, it's really for 5 adults even, with a certain trunk volume, and really being a car for, for the garage.
So it's nearly a premium car?
Not nearly, it is a premium car actually. Especially in the interior, we really have benefited from a very new craftsmanship and premium materials in the interior, and we are really proud that this car is on a very high premium level actually.
Premium car with premium prices?
A premium car deserves premium prices. Actually, yes, of course it is, or it will be a bit more expensive than the predecessor. But as we are comparing with really established brands and cars, from Mercedes, from Audi, but also the Range Rover and Evoque, we do have a lower price compared to other premium manufacturers.
The Countryman starts around about 26,000 euros, and what is with a hybrid version?
The hybrid version is not yet published what the price will be. We are still investigating what price it should get. But you can be sure that we will be competitive in the pricing as well.
Over 30,000, under 30,000?
Let me put it like this. It has a power of 165 kilowatts. This is already higher than the Cooper S and SD. So it will be somewhere in the range of the combustion engines, diesel and or the highest combustion engines, diesel and petrol.
Thank you.
Welcome.
If you are interested, you can buy the electric Countryman in June in the next year. If you want to buy a diesel or a petrol Countryman, you can get it in February or in March in the US. And so welcome to Autogefühl with another coverage of the Volkswagen Atlas. AJ was the first of our team who could see this car, and my first impression is it is really a car made for the USA. And so this car should improve the image. Atlas in Greek mythology has the whole world on its shoulders. So this car do for Volkswagen in America carry all hopes. Definitely a car for US drivers, too long and too massive for most of European streets and the parking infrastructure. But in the US it's a mid-size SUV. Okay, we saw a lot of cars on the LA Motor Show that are longer and higher. It was a great pleasure to talk with the product manager of the Atlas. A lot of years he spends with the development. Christoph Vierling is a product manager of the Atlas and very proud.
Yes, indeed, because it was a lot of work and we had the decision 3 years ago. And I think this is a very important product for Volkswagen of America.
It's a car for America, for China and for Russia, yeah. Not for Europe. Why?
Yeah, I think the car is very long. It's more than 5 meters, 5 meters and 4 centimeters. And it's a 7-seater. It's a very wide and bright car. And probably in Europe it might be a little bit too long. Nevertheless, I think it was very focused on the US market, and that was the reason why we tailored this car special to that market.
What are the special things in this car you built for the US market?
I think the car is very spacey. And if you compare to our competitors, it's very easy to go to the third row. I can show it if you want later. So we will jump on the third row, and you can see it's a very easy access.
Let's do.
Let's do. Okay, so we have to go to the other side. Oh no, maybe.
Are you guys starting?
Okay. Just give us 5 minutes. They do also an interview. Yes, that's only. I need to. So if you see, we can open that in a very easy way. You have 200 millimeters, and then me, I'm 1 meter and 80 tall. And this is really, you can see it here as an adult person for long distance without any problem. And this was one focus of our development, to have a spacey room for seven people, and not even for children, but for adult people in the third row.
Is the design outside and inside classical American?
Yeah, what we can see is that this was very focused on the new technology. You see, it's a digital combi, and it's not only you see the speedometer. You always have, if you want, you can change that whatever you like, but you can see the navigation system, the map here. If you look, for example, this is the I have to look for the map. 1 second. Well, this is now. The route is being calculated. Now it's calculating. Now, and you can have the same map in the digital combi, but you're not you can focus on the traffic by seeing that map on the screen here. And also was one part of the development is of course we are very focused on social media. You have the app connect, mate control, travel link, navigation system, and obviously you can link your iPhone. Usually that's a German provider, so I can't do it here in the US. But then you have a mirror link, as you know also from the European market, and you can put on these icons. You can put on the screen here.
Is this a car to improve the image of Volkswagen in America?
Definitely, because we think because this car is so focused on the US market. We built it in a factory in Tennessee, in Chattanooga. It's focused for the market, and I think it will support the image of Volkswagen because everybody can see that we are focused on this market and we take care of the customers' needs here.
So he is very proud of the Atlas. In the discussion on Autogefühl in the last 2 weeks, we noticed positive, but as well a lot of negative reactions. In my opinion, the price decides the success of this car in North America. And I think Volkswagen will make a very good price compared with other mid-size SUVs. The customer can get a good car for a good price. Who wants more? This car in the background, it's the new Volkswagen e-Golf, the new hope for Volkswagen in America. Look.
Have fun. Thank you.
It's one of the electrifying news from LFA, this Volkswagen e-Golf facelift. The Golf is one of the best-selling cars ever. It is important to look how the story goes on. 33 million Golfs have been produced so far. Volkswagen has major problems on the US market. Dieselgate, you have heard of. This updated e-Golf could be a solution to get a better image, to rebuild trust, Volkswagen says. What are for me, and I think for a lot of people, the arguments to buy an electric car? First, it's a good feeling to avoid pollution, to protect nature. Second, the car has to have the electric range I need. And that was in the past the problem of many electric cars or hybrids with a range of 30 miles or 50 kilometers. Is that enough? I say no. The new e-Golf has a range of 300 kilometers or 186 miles, so 50% more than before. But as in America and Europe, a different test exists for the driving range. In US, you could hear from only 125 miles, but 50% more than before remains. You can discuss either the European or the US tests are more realistic. I think this new range is a great progress and makes the car really competitive. And third, the price. Would you buy an electric car that is much more expensive than a diesel or gasoline car? Pay the price only for the good feeling? The new Volkswagen e-Golf is supposed to remain stable in the price. Of course, it costs almost double the Golf entry price, but also comes with a high trim level. I could talk with Jürgen Stackmann, Volkswagen Marketing, what he expects. What do you think makes this car successful?
Basically, the key feature of this car is extended range. So the car becomes much more relevant than ever before. People in America love our e-Golf. It's a zippy drive, very compact drive, fun to own, fun to drive. Two things actually have happened to the new e-Golf. It has 50% higher range, 125 miles expected range here in America. And secondly, it's a fully connected car. It has actually a gesture control infotainment system, which really is high tech. It's a luxury feature now drawn into our core segment. So we take what we're known for, a fun to drive, fun to own vehicle concept, make it more relevant and actually make it more future-proof.
Is the car in the middle of the Volkswagen e-strategy, or it's a car only for a few years?
No, it's basically Golf is leading the way, as in so many other aspects as well. It's our technology leader, it's the car that actually sits in the center of our global product program. Golf is leading the way and heading the way into the future of e-mobility. We've announced the strategy for the year 2020 and beyond with our electric modular kit, which will only be an electric vehicle program. But that's some years to go. So e-Golf is really sort of showing the path into the future.
Our last question, the e-Golf is built in Wolfsburg, but in Dresden in the future too. Why?
We want to make Dresden actually a specific e-mobility hub for the brand, not only in production but actually in getting connected to society. So there's a lot of programs actually created in and for Dresden and in the area. Really excited to see this plant actually that did build the Phaeton in the past becoming actually an electric-oriented sort of hub for the Volkswagen brand. So the team is very proud. We've just introduced the car there yesterday as well. So I think it's the right moment, the right time to take this plant and this idea of the glass factory, Glasmanufaktur, into the future.
The new e-Golf is a Golf 7 built since 2012, and this is the first facelift since then. What is remarkable? Let's look at the front. As often seen in the last months, successful cars get only moderate design changes. Full LED headlights in the front, optional or included in the high trim level versions. Overall, the car looks partly sharper, completed with the last necessary fine changes. Do you see any changes in the side profile? No? Me neither. In the rear we see nude taillights, LED, and this is standard. More changes are in the interior, but the build quality is still very high. As you know, I'm a guy with some pounds too much. Let me Check the seats in the front. Really enough space. Looks good. The driver's position is good even for a long run. What's new in this Golf? The big touchscreen, 9.2 inches, working like a big smartphone. All functions are easy to understand. It works with gestures as well. This infotainment system is a big step forward. Even in higher trim levels, the Golf gets features we know from higher class cars. The digital instruments are optional. In a low trim level, the Golf has analog instruments. Of course, there are optional a lot of assistance systems for the driver, for example, to avoid collisions with other cars or pedestrians. In the back, I'm wondering since years how many space the constructors found in this compact car for the knees or for the headspace. So much, so good. A look into the trunk. This is what you need in a compact car. More space delivers the estate version, so they called variant or sport wagon. And what about the engines? This is the electric engine with 115 horsepower, and there are a lot of petrol engines available from 86 up to 300 horsepower in the Golf R. Maybe even a little bit more after the facelift. If you like the combination of electric and petrol power, Volkswagen offers a plug-in hybrid version with 150 horsepower and additional 102 electric horsepower, the GTE. At the end of the day, this car, the new Volkswagen e-Golf, sets the benchmark in its class. However, other competitors may have a wider electric range, but this car has the best package. The LA Motor Show is opened until 27th of November if you want to see the cars with your own eyes. But most of the important cars you can see on Autogefühl. And now check out our longer reviews of the cars of the LA Motor Show.